Premiere Pro has a fairly new feature that'll let you create captions automatically. Sounds like magic, right? It's not perfect for every circumstance, but for a single speaker in a controlled environment, the results are surprisingly good. Adobe essentially uses AI to automatically create these captions for you with the power of machines or magic or something. But captions can make it easier for people to follow along in certain sections that can be longer, or for sections where it's harder to hear a speaker. So it's a good tool to have. Howdy squids, I'm Brian, and let's learn how to automatically caption a video, like this one. Make sure that you have the latest version of Adobe Premiere installed and go ahead and open up your project file. Workflow-wise, it's useful to have your video already roughed out for this. Now from the top here, you're going to want to go to the Captions workspace. Then you want to click Transcribe Sequence, and then under Audio Analysis, I'm going to go ahead and change this to Audio 1 because I know that all of my dialogue will sit on the Audio 1 track. You can choose Transcribe in point to out point only if you only wanted to do a certain section, and then I just leave the opt-in part on. Now go ahead and click Transcribe. And basically it'll render your audio, upload it to the cloud, transcribe it, and then send it back down. For a video like this that's about like 15-16 minutes, it took me about 10 minutes. So we'll meet you back here when it's actually done. After the processing is done, you get a screen that looks like this. Basically, you've got all of your captions now separated out by timecode. Now, you're not going to see it in your timeline yet until you click Create Captions, so don't worry about that yet. Now, from here, you can go and play the sections and make sure that they're actually correct, but I would rather have them created first before I start messing with them. So at the top here, you can go ahead and click Create Captions. These options can more or less be set to the default here, unless if for some reason you need to change them to a special caption file of some kind. You can alter the maximum length and the minimum duration if you feel like it, but I usually find that keeping it at the max and to about 3 or 4 seconds is right. And then you can do single or double line. Make sure it does say Create from Sequence Transcript and go ahead and click Create. Once you're created here, you'll actually see a new layer pop up here. This is a separate Captions layer. Now I've got the rest of these visual effects turned off just so that we can see the captions. Let's take a look at it.
One life-changing training lesson I learned in 2021. Now I've been training since 1999, and that's a cool number. it's like bragging rights. 1999 before 2000.
So it looks like it did a pretty good job here. Now a note is that this was in a fairly controlled environment where we had one speaker for the most part. They were speaking pretty clearly and they were speaking fairly close to the camera where the microphone's mounted. So if you record in a similar situation, you'll probably have pretty good results. Let's say that you wanted to change one of these captions though, because it wasn't correct. Let's take this one right here.
Graduating from, PhD?
So it does technically say graduating from what is a PhD, but we're gonna go ahead and put it in a comma here to make it a little more readable. So you can double click into the individual little tab here, make your correction by typing in whatever you want. And then when you click off of it, it makes the change. Now these subtitles work pretty much like any other single tile piece on the timeline. You can make them longer or shorter, and you can also move them around as you need by clicking and dragging. Now when you double click onto these actual caption files, you'll see that you can change the individual text, track style, the zone that it actually sits. You can change any of that, but if you wanted to change them all at once, you can go into the little caption screen here. You can hit Control A, and let's go ahead and get our font changed over. I'm going to change this to Geometric Sans, because that is what I use for Juji. We're going to size it up a little bit, maybe 70. And we want to make sure that we are centered. You'll see down here the little zone. I want it right in the bottom in the middle, and make sure that we are actually center aligned. Now when we scroll through, the text is a little bit bigger on the actual screen.
One life-changing training lesson I learned in 2021.
That's a pretty good size, I think. Now, a bonus of these automatic captions is you can go up to the top right here, and let's say like you wanted just the text transcript, like you were going to make an article or something like that. You can go ahead and go up to the top right here, these 3 little dots. You can click Export to Text File. You can go ahead and name your file whatever you want, and then you can go ahead and crack it open into the notepad, and boom, just like that, now you've got it in a text form. Like I said, this is really useful if you wanted to make something like an article, and for fitness, this is the perfect example of taking one form of content and moving it to another with only a little bit more effort. It's a small step that really helps. Another small step that really helps is subscribing to the channel for more video creating and editing tips. Oh, wow. How'd this section get in here? So another reminder, in this video, The speakers were further away from the microphone, i.e. the camera, and also there were multiple speakers. It was a very, very loud and busy gym, so it didn't work quite as well. I would say there was a 60% accuracy rate on this, almost not to the point where it would have been easier to do by hand. But here's an example.
I'm driving up through that area, so even if it's just one hand now, put your head back. So I'm driving up through that area, coming around my puck. So I don't want to roll to this position.
So as you can see, when it's very busy and when the speaker is farther away, the results are not quite as good. Besides some of the words being wrong, the timing wasn't exactly right either though. I show this as an example to temper expectations that not in every situation will automatic captions work, but when they do work, they can save you a ton of time from doing it by hand. Because doing captions by hand, it's a lot. But that's automatic captions in a nutshell. They're not a one-stop shop, but they can be used to do a lot of the heavy lifting of creating captions for your videos. Plus, it does it in an automatic fashion. How cool is that? Robots, man. Leaves you more time to game, play with your cat, or even do something crazy like liking this video. I'm sorry, I'm just so terribly awkward sometimes. Thanks for watching, pals. And hey, I want to be helpful where I can. So comment below, what are you struggling with when it comes to creating or editing videos? If you need help editing videos faster, then I've got a video for you right here. This one. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later, squids.